They were doing things in these temples and things in these pyramids that we don't understand. And we look at them and we are like, wow, that was cool that they made those. That looks really hard. And yet we can't build them today. When have we built the Great Pyramid of Giza?
Right.
2.5 million stone blocks, an average of 3 to 7 tons. When's the last time we did that, Danny?
Never.
Oh, we can do it though. Okay. Is it going to be
Prove it,
a
Elon.
perfect mathematical half ratio of the Earth, Sun, and the Moon that aligns during the precession to Sirius and Canis Major and has a guardian lion that faces Leo with an entire subterranean world that we have boarded up and refuse to go explore? Like, you know the whole Sphinx paw thing, right? The right paw? They have done LiDAR and ground penetrating radar around the Sphinx, and they've identified 4 entryways into the Sphinx. And some of them are super obvious. Like, this isn't a conspiracy.
Oh yeah, I've seen
There's one on the head. You've seen it, right?
Yeah.
So there's an entrance on the head. There's one on the rump, on the back, and there's one on the right paw. Okay. When those were brought up to Zahi Hawass and the group, they had a lot of public attention to investigate. And so, like, I've gotten this whole story from the inside, so I know there was a whole team that was involved in doing analysis. That they found chambers, they found openings under the Sphinx, and they saw rooms, and they also saw something down there that looked like a structure, like they don't know what it is. Okay, and so what happened is they brought the scans. This is like in I think it was the early 2000s or late 90s. Double check when that was. They brought it. The public got all excited briefly, right? It was in the news a little bit. And so the team, Zahi Hawass and the group, what they did was really clever. So let's put this on record in case it's not on record. They decided to drill to quiet everybody and go investigate, but they drilled in the wrong spot deliberately. So they went several feet in the wrong area, came down and didn't find anything and said, look, see, there's nothing here. They never even drilled in the place they were supposed to. They never even went into the area that the voids had been found on scans. And so they tricked everybody, and then that's how they're basically hiding and pretending all of these things aren't really there. I mean, you've seen the news out of Cusco in Peru, right? How they've found the entire subterranean connection from Cusco all the way to Sacsayhuaman underground.
This is recent?
Yeah, this was just like a couple months ago.
Really? I did not see this.
The ancients seem to be really interested in the subterranean world. Very interested in the means that has a connection to what's above. So what we see above in Egypt is just the surface, that it actually is a whole system of things underground that deal with not necessarily the new thing that...
The SAR scans?
Yeah, I don't buy that.
Really?
But we know that there are huge aquifer systems and subterranean areas.
Dude, the fucking labyrinth in Egypt.
There's a lot of stuff like that.
That's like, I just watched Ben Van Kerkwick's whole video on that. It's completely insane. I mean, there's all kinds of writings from antiquity, from Herodotus, from Pliny the Elder.
Love Pliny the Elder.
Strabo, who write about this labyrinth, and they say that it's like 100 times the size of the labyrinth in Crete, that it's like an impossible feat of engineering, even more impossible than the Great Pyramid of Giza. They all say that. They all say it's like a way more astonishing feat than the fucking Great Pyramid, which is insane.
When those things actually come to light and people start understanding the engineering that went into them, we'll understand that they had capabilities that we don't understand today. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that we often will view them as being primitive. I don't think they were at all. Like, I think that they had forms of technology and human abilities that we don't remember anymore at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. This one is probably the easiest example that everybody knows. I imagine you've had this experience in your life at least a few times. Someone you know well, not like someone you don't know. Someone you know well, maybe a family member or a best friend. They're going to call you, and it's an intentional thought. Like, I'm going to call Danny. I haven't talked to that guy in like a month. And right before they call you, they think that, right? Have you ever had that pop in your head where your friend, and then they call you? That's it.
I've had it happen with people that I'm not even close to. I've had I've talked about it on the podcast before. Like I've had it happen where like I was thinking randomly in the future about an interaction I was going to have with a guy that I see maybe twice a year. And then 2 seconds later, he calls me.
But that's the thing, is it wasn't random. So the idea is more of that thought, you picked it up like an antenna. Okay. So try to think of consciousness as more like an antenna of a radio station.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you picked up on that conscious thought because it was intended for you. Right? So it has to be an intentional thought. And that's important here to understand. When we have intention behind our thoughts, we can activate something. We can activate something that goes into ancient telekinesis abilities that we don't really remember anymore. But there's almost like a little bit of the leftover memory and the leftover like parts of that are still there. They're dormant. Think of it this way. All of these gifts are not gone. All of them. It doesn't matter what they are. They're not gone. They're dormant. They're all dormant inside us. We will activate them again. It's just a reactivation based on activating our DNA with a certain kind of frequency, right?
And it is proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that there's these kids that can read minds now, these nonverbal autistic kids. It's happening. With the telepathy tapes. I had a woman in here the other day who's a mom of a nonverbal autistic kid and taught the mom how to see without her eyes. That. She was sitting here. We literally wrapped her head in like 30 blindfolds. And he was holding up cards behind her head while she was wearing blindfolds, facing the other way and telling him exactly what he was holding.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like it.
That's the abilities that I'm talking about. Now imagine that on like 100 times more stronger. Imagine if we were literally like magicians almost. We could create, we could move things with our voice and our sound. To this day, we know that there are still Tibetan monks that have been documented as moving an object with their voice.
Right.
We know that levitation and acoustics are fundamental understanding that this culture had. And it gets even deeper is like, well, how do they know about like the ratios of the Earth, Sun, and the Moon? How do they know about geodesy, locations on the Earth dealing with like 30th and 40th parallels, building very specifically these certain lines across the Earth? It's like mind-blowing when you start getting into what they knew. Yeah. They knew like everything.
Right.
It seemed as though they had mastered a lot of things of reality and a lot of concepts. And I think that's why they were able to build what they built, because they were masters in what they did. And I don't think any of it was built by hand at all.
Really?
No, I think about it. Like a lot of people will jump to the idea, oh, maybe giants move them. No, I think that when we look at how it's described, right, that's how we know. Let's think about descriptions.
Is there any texts?
Oh, well, we have to go back to indigenous traditions. No, the texts don't really talk about
the text wouldn't know because if the Great Pyramid and these like the labyrinth and stuff were built, they would have been way before. They would have been built way before, antiquity, as we call antiquity, right? It would have been if it was before the Younger Dryas.
Yeah, the lost chapters.
There's no way we would have texts from that time.
Some of the cuneiform tablets could have been from that time, or at least rewritten from that time, which is why they're so important and interesting.